For Leo, but time is not really on my side. I have with me engineer here in the studio to tell us more about his docket and what is really happening as far as the new appointment is concerned. A very good morning. Thank you for joining us on AM Live.
Thank you.
Let me just try and adjust my seat so that I can be close to you a bit, and we get to talk and know what is really happening, engineer. Right, maybe I can start with the Daily Nation, because I've seen something here on the second page. It says, this is a quote from you. It says, sometimes titles were acquired in a fraudulent manner. We want to be extremely vigilant in guarding public assets. And that's you talking about the public assets, and we have that story on page 16 of today's Daily Nation. Let me just flip over there and we see what we're talking about. There's land that has been grabbed, and you're saying the Kenya Airports Authority,
Their land, yeah.
You've noted that the Kenya Airports Authority godown had been grabbed and fenced off by people who claim to have title deed for the property. Is that true?
Well, actually, it's the Ministry of Roads.
It's the Ministry of
at
Roads.
Wilson, where we have a godown and we have big stores. And on Friday, people came brandishing titles and fenced off the land. So I don't see how that could have ever happened. It's like somebody fencing off the Nation House. You are working there, you are using it, but they tell you they have a title. So that's the kind of thing that we are saying. That, it will not happen, we will not allow it to happen, and we'll be very vigilant. It is your money. But it is your money. Anything that belongs to government is your money, is a national asset. It belongs to all of us, and it cannot go to somebody, an individual.
But it seems the land around the Kenya Airports Authority is really dogged with so much controversy, not just from the Wilson Airport, also if you go to the JKIA. What is really happening as far as land is concerned with these airports authorities?
Well, these are historical issues, and the thing is just people to own up. In Nairobi, we've been very successful. There have been very many people who have come back and returned titles of land that they acquired. You know the story about Mororongo and how we built the dual carriageway. And basically it means that if we cannot be very vigilant, if we cannot be very tough in protecting government assets, infrastructure in this country is going to grind to a halt, because we cannot afford to pay the prices that are demanded for compensation. So what belongs to us, we are going to guard it very jealously, very, very jealously. What doesn't belong to us, we are going to acquire at market rates. So we cannot afford to let go what belongs to us.
Right. So now you have some of the biggest projects, I should say, in the dockets right now.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, you have the Lapset, you have also the Thika Highway now, it is well up and running. What is really up your collective sleeves as far as Lapset is concerned?
Lapset, it's simple. We are going to build the 3 berths. The port will start operating. We can start with a transshipment port, where you actually don't need, for a start, infrastructure that goes out. You may not need the roads and the railways. So start that port. Working with our colleagues in energy, we could start a power generating station fueled by coal. We don't have to buy coal we don't have to bring it from Moa Basin for a start, because you basically need the railway to bring the coal from Moa Basin. The coal from South Africa passes by Mombasa and Lamu, goes to India and China and generates cheaper power than here. So why can't we do it that way for a start? Build the port, start transshipment, build a power station, and then build the infrastructure around the port, starting now with the roads and the railway. So it's a must. It's going to start.
Right. Still at the coast, you know, yesterday on the Daily Nation, there was a second story there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it really caught your attention. People of Taita Taveta are really crying foul as far as the road is concerned there. I want you to react on that. If my director may just put that for you to see what they were really saying.
I saw it. It was the headline of the Nation.
It was the headline also.
And we discussed it.
There you have it. Worst road in Kenya has trade and tourism.
Yes, I want to apologize to the people of Taita Taveta for a start, we are going to carry out emergency works on that road. But the good news is this, that we are just about to award that tender at a cost of about 7 billion Kenya shillings for the complete, is actually upgrading to bitumen standard from Taveta to, from Watate to Taveta. Part of it also, we are building a bypass at Taveta. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. But for the time being, we have to do something drastic about it.
Right.
It will be done within 2 weeks, within 1 week.
Right. In that same article, I noted that they were saying in the 1980s, the market was also served by a railway line.
Yes.
Which has since been neglected, leading to a disuse. As a result of the slowdown in economic activities, the standards of living in the area also have declined. So what do you really have up your collective sleeves as far as also maybe upgrading that railway line is concerned?
We don't have immediate plans for upgrading the railway, but what we'll do, the road is going to act as a catalyst for economic development. The border post which is coming there, the planned airport at Taveta, and the border post is big. It's big. It's the one-stop border post that is already going on. So all these things put together should spur development in that area. Yes.
Also, maybe still on roads, I think there was someone here on Facebook. Let me just come here and read it for you. Emmanuel Esadia is saying that the road between KWS and Bomas of Kenya.
Yes.
Let me see if it can expand a bit. It's refusing.
It's okay. You read.
Bomas of, yes, there you have it. Let me just see if I can scroll up a bit.
You've gone high-tech.
Yeah, we've gone high-tech. The last time we were with you, we were in the virtual studio.
Yeah.
Well, where is it again? It's acting up on me this morning. I don't know. All right. Let me look here.
But is the road...
Yeah, yes, it's a road between KWS and the Ongata Rongai.
Yes.
It's taken forever. That's what Esadia is saying. I don't seem to find it.
It's not taken forever. We had programmed to do that road for 2 years, basically because of trying to stretch the budget. We had to start that road. That was one of the roads that we said we must start at all costs. And we started, we planned it for 2.5 years because we wanted it to match our budgetary provision.
Yes.
But I'm happy to please, this year we reallocated a bit of money. We owe the contractor some money, but he's working. The contractor is properly resourced, and we are going to complete this road towards the end of this year. So patience is what we need, patience. Right.
All right. Okay, let's move on, and we talk about two major roads rehabilitation contracts, namely the Kisumu-Kakamega and the Webuye-Kitale, which has commenced, I think.
Yes, they have.
Yes. Is it ahead of schedule or not?
We had a problem with one of the sections because after award of the contractor changed names. You know, if it was Kamau Construction Company, then he called himself Kamau International, and that brought a problem when he brought the performance board. And there was a drawback as we tried to get the legal people to confirm that it is actually the same company. So we are not on schedule on that particular one. But I'm pleased to say that the Kisumu Kakamega section is doing very well. It's only one of the 3 sections which is lagging behind. But we are very competent contractors, and we'll be on them to make sure that they perform.
All right.
We'll be on them.
Also, the proposed restructuring of KCAA, is it on track right now?
We are on schedule. We are on schedule. We held discussions with the chairman and the MD of KCAA. Basically, it's to make it, to remove some of the things that KAA is doing, which are basically regulatory. So between KAA and KCAA, we have to define their laws. Move what belongs, right away belongs to KC, from KAA, and put it back to KCA. It's part of a very wide restructuring that started a long time ago to empower KCA to regulate, because they are actually a regulator, and also to get them their own space so that they are not housed by KAA. All are a manner that even if they are in the same building, they actually won't. They are not, the regulator is not housed by somebody he is regulating. So those are some of the issues that we have to deal with.
All right. Also, there's the Webuye the condition, precedent to mobilization have recently been met by the client contractor. I don't know if also the client has changed his name again, or maybe it's being on course as far as that is concerned. And it's expected to be up and running. It was expected to be up and running by April the 12th, 2013.
Yes. That particular stretch?
Yes.
No, this is the company that had a problem. So, but we have finalized everything, and we expect that the road is going to start.
All right. Okay, maybe you can tell me now that you've been appointed. It's like a new lease of life for you as a cabinet secretary right now. Do you feel that there's more pressure for you to really perform? Because, yeah, looking previously, we had a very seamless flowing performance as far as the Ministry of Roads was concerned. Now that we have transport and infrastructure, do you think maybe you're saddled with so much responsibility?
No, it's much easier.
It's much
easier because if you remember that it's transport now. The transport sector is domiciled in one ministry. And therefore, I don't have to go to another minister to ask him what to do. You recall, like, the relationship between KPA and roads wasn't so good, because we were saying that all the goods that were overloading our roads were emanating from the port. Now all those things are under my docket. Now KPA complains that about the railways. Now the railways working together with KPA together. I'm responsible for railways. So when they don't take up the cargo, it's me. So I should make sure that as I empower railways as much as I empower roads, and we should all work together to be very efficient. The key thing here, and what I would really like to say, is we have to compare ourselves with other countries, our neighboring countries, and we should stop boasting, because in some areas we are lagging behind. If we don't take drastic action on our infrastructure, this country will just go down. The port, for example, the port of Mombasa, the Tanzanians are not asleep, they are working. Djibouti here, next. They are working. Ethiopia and Southern Sudan building railways. Tanzania building railways to connect with Tanzania, with Uganda, and eventually going to South Sudan. So there is no time for talking. We need to do serious business. Otherwise, we close our port. All the jobs that people try and the interest that they have, then they have to go to ask for people from Tanzania to give them. We got to get very serious about the way we manage our affairs. The railways is a must. The railways is a must. I was told that with very poor technology, with all the people who are being eaten at Savo by the animals, they managed to build a railway for 1,000 kilometers up to Kisumu. And here we are even struggling with a concession 7 years down the line. It can't happen, and it won't happen. So we got to build the railway. We got to modernize the port. We got to expand the JKIA if it's going to remain a hub, and if we are going to make sure that Kenya Airways remains competitive. Because there is no point you bringing people and then you are stopping about half a kilometer from the terminal building and people are walking in the rain or very far. We got to really modernize JKIA to make Kenya Airways remain competitive internationally and within Africa.
Yeah. Right. Let me just draw your attention to the National Transport and Safety Authority.
Yes.
Of course, they had the launch, and they were not seeing eye to eye with some of the members of the matatu industry.
Yeah.
Yes, they were saying, of course, the composition of that authority is not representing the face of Kenya. Do you agree, or do you hold that view?
First of all, the Constitution says that everything has got to be representative. You know, there has to be participation. That is one asset.
Yes.
But what are the functions? Are they going to function?
Yes.
So I think people should be very keen first to make sure that it starts. We are talking about 3,000 lives of Kenyans dying. So that doesn't, 2 people or 3 people working together can stop people dying if we give them space. So we should give them space first. Let us establish the authority. Let us get it running. Let us get a substantive director, MD, for the organization. we recruit, we get somebody to start working, we have a startup, and then we can address the other issues, because they are not saying that the people who are there are not able to think, are not able to work. So those are some of the things that I have to grapple with. But first, let's take off. Let's take off.
Let's take off. Right. Then I need to ask you also, how are you planning to maybe bring sanity in the matatu industry? Of course, we know it's a vital key, and President Uhuru Kenyatta said transport industry is one of the areas that it is key to them, according to their manifesto.
Yes.
It is quite a very delicate balancing act, you know, trying to restore order and trying also to keep them at an even keel. How are you planning to go about that?
First, I'm going to appeal to all Kenyans, for people to really think, and I've told you that we should stop seeing Kenya as very big. Yesterday, I was looking at the map of the world, and I was looking at a country like Brazil,
yes,
and seeing how expansive it is, bigger than even Australia. Kenya is a very small country. If you look at it on the world map,
yes,
we can be like Somali. You can be closed. Life goes on around your neighbors, but just by bringing chaos and mayhem.
yes.
So we all have a collective responsibility of saying that, first of all, we must eliminate chaos, we must eliminate mayhem, we must stop people from dying on our roads. If those are the guiding principles, then everything else should fall in place. And working with people of goodwill, because it is not everybody who has goodwill. That is why we have government, that is why we have police, who don't carry chocolate, they carry guns with bullets to shoot people. So I said, one of the things is, even in this appointment, it is not to go and be buddy-buddy with everybody. It is to enforce the law. But I also said, one of the things and the hallmark of this government will be to make it possible for people to obey the law. Be facilitative. Don't just stand there at the head to arrest people because they have broken the law. Help people to understand the law. Help people to obey the law. And the benefits are immense. The benefits of obeying with the law. Laws, of course, that are not meant to stifle business, because you can have a law that everybody who crosses the red light is shot. You know, so it's not just obeying the law because it's there, but it's also having laws that help people to flourish. That's what we want to do. And I appeal to all the matatu owners that we must work together. This is a very new dispensation, and we can change this country forever. We are ready to do such things. We have a new constitution that allows dialogue, and I would appeal to all of them. And we have to think very hard. A regulated transport industry. It's just like the railway, where we are saying we build a railway line.
Yes.
And if you have your money, come and build another one. So
Right.
that the people who own the tracks actually start owning trains. Who says that they can only own trucks, a few trucks, combined? Buy a XYZ railway company. We lease the space to you. You use it. The same way we use the airport. The airport is just a piece of infrastructure. Emirates, Abu Dhabi, Kenya Airways, Fly 540, all of them use it. So if we had other airports, even apart from Nairobi, a private airport, if we were to license, other people, other airlines would use it. So that's what we want, that people now ought to see the opportunities for growth. Don't hang on to the small little thing that you have. Start thinking of how you can get bigger, and the government should be there to facilitate you. When we talk of these bus rapid transit, they will be big buses. They will not be owned by government. The government will only build the infrastructure. We want the matatu circles, who already own the matatus now, to be the owners of these buses. The government will build the infrastructure, workshops, then they run them. And that's it. You are only telling them, grow big, get bigger. Okay, move from your kiosk and then become the wholesaler, become a supermarket. Yeah.
Right. Of course, we have reactions on Twitter. Briefly, you can comment on them, because I'll be remiss if I don't really mention some of these questions that our viewers are asking you this morning. Collins Sike is asking, when shall Landis Road be completed? Yeah. Then we have George Hassan also is asking, the road from Githurai to Mwihoko, which links to the southern bypass, has never been made despite funds being available. That is George Hassan, also Peter Wafula is asking, what plans does the engineer have to curb the rising and alarming accidents on our roads? And finally, Chief Skype is saying a section between Machakos University and the two centers is pathetic. What role does Machakos University is saying between Machakos University and the town center is pathetic. What role does my MP have in its repair? I think that one is targeted for the MP. But you can briefly comment on this.
Okay, let's talk about road accidents. First, 3,000 people die in Kenya. That is a very, very high per capita compared to the number of, if you take the number of vehicles, say here, you find like, and I said like in Sweden, it's for 100,000 vehicles, 3 people die. Here, for 100,000 vehicles, 1,700 people die. That tells you where we can get. And in fact, a country like Sweden had said that in this decade of road safety, they want 0 death of children between the age of 0 to 5 years. None. People thought they were joking. Last year, but only one child died. So because you cannot drive with a child who is not protected. And these are the standards that we are saying. We are in a global village. We don't have to think that things are very difficult to achieve. Ladies load, I think I could, if you give me the contacts, I'll explain to those gentlemen. The Machakos University, I see. There is a 12-kilometer stretch of an earth road. Now, we are in transition, and don't forget that the maintenance money was actually going to the constituency road committees. They are the ones who are deciding where to use the money, how much to use the money. Our engineers were basically just there to protect the resources. Yeah.
Right. So, Engineer Kamau, I really appreciate you coming through on AM Live this morning. I really appreciate also you answering some of these questions that are here. And of course, we will be doggedly following to see how the ministry is doing as far as transport and infrastructure is concerned.
What we also want, we want support. Let us support this country. One of the core values within the Constitution is patriotism. And patriotism is to find something going wrong and calling me as a minister and telling me, I think something is going wrong here. It is not enjoying something going wrong. It is not, we must support the government as the press to help us build this country so that when we meet our neighbors, we really are standing shoulders above them.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Engineer. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.